Now meet Mrs. Abimbola Ajoke Bambose, 38-year-old, mother of 3, based in the UK. She's married, right? She told her husband she was going to Turkey with her friends on holiday. Getting to Turkey, she called her husband to inform him that she had gotten the Brazilian butt lift procedure done. Now, and she was in a lot of pain. So her husband flew to Turkey, gets in there, realized that the situation is a lot more serious. Long story short, Mrs. Abimbola Ajoke died 3 weeks later as a result of multi-organs failure. Now, this particular story opened up the conversation for the danger of BBL. So I've always been curious as to why more women, particularly African women, are choosing to undergo this dangerous procedure. Now, what about a woman's social and economic status place her at risk? And last but not least, what are healthcare officials doing to lower the danger of the procedure as well? Now, these are all questions we're going to be exploring on today's episode. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Now, welcome back. My name is Imoitinya, and I am a visual storyteller who happens to be visually impaired. If you're stopping by for the first time, welcome. If you like what you hear so far, please do not forget to subscribe. Click on the notification bell, ding, 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 to be the first to receive any new content. So let's jump back into the story. Now, I would like to highlight though that BBL, or Brazilian butt lift, or I'll just call it BBL, for the sake of not wanting to pronounce the whole thing, is actually the most dangerous surgery in the world. This is according to the Society of Plastic Surgeon. And that is because it has the highest death rate.
Have you, by the way, researched BBLs since you've had this procedure and noticed how dangerous they are?
I have.
Have you heard of the other really bad complication you can get from BBLs?
No.
Death.
Death. It's the most fatal operation in all of plastic surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. A Brazilian butt lift, or a BBL, is where you take fat from one part of the body harvested through liposuction and inject it into the buttock area. The problem is the chances that that fat will get into one of those short blood vessels leading to the main blood vessel going back to your heart is elevated. And unfortunately, that can lead to a very fatal or dangerous complication.
Right. Well, so what exactly is BBL? What's the procedure like? Let me share with you a very brief description of this. Very brief, to the briefest of the briefest. Now, it is really when a surgeon extracts fat from a woman's either her thighs, her hips, lower backs, or her belly. So when this fat is extracted, it is then injected into her buttocks, into her bum bum. And it gives the woman an hourglass shape. So it makes the waist tighter, which they call snatched, right? And then it also makes her hips a lot more curvier. And it gives her that nice figure. Now, what makes this surgery very dangerous and why it's considered the deadliest of them all is because when the doctors are injecting the fat into the gluteal maximum, which is the butt, they really can't see what it is that they're doing, and they're only doing it in one location. So the further they go, the dangerous it gets. So the further they insert the tools that they're using into the bum bum, the dangerous it gets. And in many cases, or the cases that we hear of death, right, they usually would fracture either a nerve or a muscle or something, which will lead to situations like Mrs. Abimbola, multiple organ failure because something has been attacked in the body, right? I'm trying to find the best word here. Now, if you're a plastic surgeon and you have a better way of explaining this, please do. This is my own internet description, right? So now we would think that plastic surgery, or rather BBL, became so popular in the 2000s, right? That is the case, but it really started in the 60s and it became popular in the 80s. And that's because this guy right here, his name is Ivo Pitanga. He is originally from Brazil. He's the father of plastic surgery. He's done lots of cosmetic surgery on celebrities, and he's very famous for this. In fact, he wrote countless articles. Rather, let me give you the number: over 800 articles on plastic surgery, and so he knew what he was doing when he started this in the first place. And his whole purpose, though, is to make people feel good from the inside out. Now, Mr. Pitanga is late. He died 2016 at age 93, but it's obvious that his legacy still lives on. Now, why are more women, particularly African women, choosing to undergo this surgery, knowing that it is extremely dangerous? Let me do my best to answer this one. There's several factors. The first one is it's trendy. When you look online, particularly on Instagram, there are lots of women out there with big bum, right? And I think from the stance of a Nigerian, and I'm speaking from the social, we have our social structure, the more physically attractive you look, the closer you are to money. And the more you follow the trend, the more you are respected. This is my Nigerian speak, There are other factors, I think, it is more affordable. Now, this particular surgery, it is very expensive to do, but women are finding doctors to actually perform the surgery at a cheaper rate. So Mrs. Abimbola, the lady that I spoke with you about when I began this episode, her picture, this is her right here. She actually got hers done for over $6,000 in Turkey, right? Which is very cheap compared to $16,000 here in the US. So more women are choosing to do this because it is affordable. But the danger of this is they are looking, or rather searching, or rather having surgeons who are not trained properly to do this. Again, it is the most dangerous surgery, the most dangerous plastic or cosmetic surgery you would ever do. So if you're taking yourself to a doctor, you want to make sure that you're placing your life at the hands of someone who's extremely good at it. Now, yes, you can get the procedure done at a cheaper rate, right? But it is causing women to lose their lives. Now, I want to bring your attention to this woman right here. This is a very serious case, actually. Her name is Dr. Anu Oluwapo Adepoju. She is the founder of Met Contour, which is a plastic surgery clinic based in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, Dr. Anu has done several BBLs to famous people, celebrities, everyday people, and it sounds like it's an affordable rate, right? But the gist is this. Before I tell you the gist, though, Dr. Anu also has something called cocktail drugs. This is a drug that she gives to, I'm laughing, Nigerians. But this is a drug that she gives to her patient to help accentuate their figure, to make the procedure that she's done even more snatcher, more sharper. But anyhow, all jokes aside, all jokes aside, because this is people's lives, Dr. Anu actually has done several botched surgeries that has ended her in series of court cases. Particularly, she did a surgery for this young woman. Her name is Neka. Neka actually died as a result of the cosmetic or BBL done by Dr. Anu. Now, the High Court of Lagos fined Dr. Anu, I believe, 1 million naira. I mean, if that's big, it would be like $2,000 or $3,000, which is not much. And also, she was sentenced to prison for about a year. Now, that's just one case out of several cases she's been charged with. But here's the gist, though. Dr. Anu showed up in the hospital complaining of pains all over her body. I mean, this is an image right here of her. You could tell she's discomfort here. Someone mentioned in a comment that her feet were swollen, and this could be due to liver issues. I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But long story short, Dr. Anu ended up dying, and this happened in August. And so people are angry simply because the case, or rather, the pending cases on her neck would not be resolved because she's dead. So it begs us to start to think about our lives when it comes to these type of issues, especially when we're giving ourselves or our life to someone else to take care of. Now, what can healthcare professionals or what can healthcare officials do when it comes to regulating issues surrounding BBL in Africa? Dr. Anu saw people from across Africa. People from the US were flying to her in Nigeria to have this procedure done. So it's very, very serious. What can healthcare officials do to regulate this type of issue, to lower the danger of this type of surgery? There are several things here. The first one is surgeons' credentials needs to be verified. I remember Googling Dr. Anu's credential and I wasn't able to find it. So if you're able to see this on your end, please share that below as well. Because these are people's lives at risk, and if you're choosing to proceed in getting BBL, do your research. Research the person's background, research the cases they have done, make sure that it is 1 out of 1,000 that dies, or rather 0 out of 1,000 that dies before you give your life to someone to operate on. It's a very, very serious matter. It's a very, very dangerous surgery, and it looks like it is here to stay. So those are my 2 cents. I do want to thank you all for listening to me today. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to subscribe for sure. And I'm also curious to know what you think though. What do you think about this whole BBL situation, right? Should women proceed in doing it? Why do you think women do it? Why do you think women do it? And what about the women in your circle? Are they speaking about wanting to do this procedure as well? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next time.